Welcome to the South Hockey Radio Network, everybody, and live on Twitch. We have got a big one for you today. It's Glenbrook South at home against the New Trier Green Trevians. And obviously, this was supposed to be an SHL game of the week, but I want to make sure Jimmy Olsen is feeling better for this weekend. So it's right here, but someone who was supposed to call that game with me on the SHL network, that guy's name is Andrew Rubin. So he's right here on the South Hockey Radio Network to join me. So welcome to the booth.
Thank you very much for welcoming me here, Dylan. It's, as you mentioned, very unfortunate that we can't call this game on the SHL network, but still very fortunate we are able to use the South Hockey Network and be able to stream this live on Twitch as well for all the viewers at home.
Yeah, so thank you everyone for tuning in as you file your way in. If you've never been here before, my name's Dylan Ward. You might recognize my voice from the SHL network. I also work alongside Gerard Boris behind the camera tonight to broadcast all of my alma mater's games, Glenbrook South. And quite a season it's been for GBS, but not too much lately, Andrew. These two teams, New Trier and Glenbrook South, played in December. GBS won 3-0, became the only team to shut out New Trier Green this season. Since then, New Trier has won 4 straight, and GBS has only won 2 of their last 5.
Yeah, really been a tale of 2 tapes since that game, as GBS went into that game pretty red hot, shutting out New Trier. As you mentioned, New Trier had lost to GBN and Loyola prior to that. And since then, as you mentioned, New Trier has been perfect here in SHL play. They had a big win against Stevenson, late third period goal to win that game. And GBS, on the other hand, suffered a loss to Carmel, a loss to York, who's also playing very well here in the SHL. And with all that said, it's going to make for a real great matchup here today, as you mentioned, number 1 versus number 2 in the league.
Under a minute to go in the warm-up clock. Andrew, GBS and New Trier Green have been at the top of the standings for quite a while now. But lately, Stevenson and York have been sneaking up on them, and Stevenson in action tonight could tie GBS in the standings if they win and GBS loses. Not to mention, this is a huge game for New Trier. All they need is a point to clinch their 8th coaches trophy in the 10 seasons the SHL has existed.
Yeah, really just truly dominance from New Trier Green here in the SHL. As you mentioned, this would be an 80% chance that they win the coaches trophy here in the regular season, which really shows it's not so much like a tournament. The regular season is a real long grind, really shows who the best team is throughout the long length of the high school hockey season, over 6 months, really and truly. And on the other hand, GBS, as you mentioned, been at the top of the standings all year long. You know they're going to be in every single game. They like to keep it low scoring. They have great defensive game plans all the time. Real contrast to New Trier, who's going to be a real all-out blitz type of team here. It's whoever's really going to get their way more. If GBS can get those counterattacks off of New Trier turnovers, I like to see GBS have a lot more success in this game, whereas if New Trier can keep GBS pinned in their own zone and get lots of traffic in front of Luke Winger and net, I think New Trier will have lots of success in this game.
All right, so the warm-up clock has expired and the teams are meeting at their benches. We give a shout out to Wendy Freemuth, of course, doing our virtual scoring and timekeeping. So thank you very much for that. Stephen Van, of course, doing the real timekeeping down in the penalty box. And now the teams have met at their benches. Glenbrook South is going to wear black for the 2nd game in a row. It's only been a handful of times they've busted out these jerseys. Normally it's for special occasions, but Andrew, I really like the look personally.
Yes, and you really can't get much more of a special occasion than number 2 versus number 1 team in the state as well. As a former player, we always discuss about times when you would want to wear your special jersey and you'd save it for big rivalry games or big-time games just like this one.
All right, Luke Winger is going to be the starting goaltender for Glenbrook South. Looks like Wyatt Schmidt gets the nod for head coach Adam Cheris. Schmidt, not their usual guy, but gets just about as much ice time as Jerdov. 8-1-1 record for him 1.94 goals against average, 925 save percentage, and 2 shutouts. For Luke Winger, 13 5-2 record, 1.87 goals against average, and a 931 save percentage. 5 shutouts for Winger, leads the SHL in that category.
Yeah, you mentioned Wyatt Schmidt getting the start. It's really a 1A, 1B situation for New Trier. They have confidence with whoever is in net for them, and we can't say enough about Luke Winger in net, reigning SHL Player of the Year.
All right, the fans continue to file in at Glenview Ice Center, and we welcome everyone tuned in on Twitch. Dylan Ward and Andrew Rubin. Here's New Trier pressuring early. But Glenbrook South's going to knock it away. Here comes Freemuth with a pass to Wojcila, but that's in his skates, so Kitchell Snow will take it. Backhand it to Sam Shenton in his own zone. Shenton looking for Chesson in neutral ice, but it goes to Ban instead, who tips it back for Ryan Mulvey. This is intercepted. Kitchell Snow tried to pull it to his backhand, but then couldn't get a shot away. Goes into the right side corner. Ryan Mulvey being pressured by Snow. Zach Freemuth out to Jason Ban. Ban to Wojcila. Kasper Wojcila. Backhander towards the net, and that goes wide. Kasper Wojcila, not a guy known for his goal-scoring abilities on this Glenbrook South team, only with 8 so far in this season in and out of SHL play, but has 2 against New Trier. This pass intended for Stevens gets knocked away, and Ventura from neutral ice will dump it down.
We've seen both times GBS has been able to create a little bit off the rush here of those New Trier turnovers, as I mentioned. That's really where GBS's offense is going to come from today.
This long pass goes to the freshman Asher Vanderploeg. This backhander into the zone by Sherwood's grabbed, and Andrew, in the first minute 30 seconds here of this game, it feels like we've had just a lot of turnovers by both teams.
Yeah, I think both teams are really trying to feel each other out.
Here's Hennigan with a shot. Luke Winger makes the save, and he will hang on. The first shot on goal for either team this game. 15:26 to go in the first.
Yeah, to continue my point there, both teams, neither one wants to make a mistake early. We mentioned how New Trier was shut out last time. They know what they have to do. They know GBS's game plan. Where on the other hand, we know GBS is going to want to wait out the game, keep it close, be more opportunistic out of the two teams.
Benji Pajerski ready for the face-off as the fourth line gets to work. This one goes up into the netting. GBS in their last game lost to Carmel by a final score of 3-1. Benji Pajerski's unassisted goal, the only Titans marker in that game, so he's the only guy with a point in that game.
Yeah, and GBS, as I mentioned, they don't score a lot of goals. They're really more opportunistic, so there's times where they can struggle to score goals, but we've also seen them be able to score 6 goals, I believe twice against GBN, against Barrington. They have the firepower to really put the pucks in the net. Miller,
Andrew, but that one would not go. And it gets dumped back down. Here's Miller catching it with his glove, centering pass. Vanderploeg nearly knocked it into his own net. And then the net comes off its post, and we get a stoppage with 15 flat in a scoreless first.
Yeah, we're really seeing New Trier look to throw the puck in front of Luke Winger. Gotten a little bit of traffic so far, but not as much as they would like, I would have to say, to start. But probably the third or fourth time we see New Trier throw a blind pass to center ice, looking to create something. And when you throw that puck and you go to the front of the net, you never really know what's going to happen.
Andrew, we talked about the rough stretch GBS has been on over the last 5 games with just 2 wins. The first game of that stretch, you called with me, it was the game against York where the Titans scored 3 goals in regulation. Since then, it's been 4 games in a row with 2 or fewer for the Titans offense. But 2 wins in that stretch. Here's Stevens into the zone. Got it down low. It's Savino with it. Takes a fall. And Steenstrup will dump this one down. Now here's Cusick. Dumping at the length, but Callahan got a piece of it, so it won't be an icing. GBS still looking for their first shot on target as we get down to about 3 minutes into this period. Grant Lochran tried to go over to Steenstrup, but it's poked into the zone by Owen McAdams, and the Titans get it back out to neutral ice. Here's Cusick. Try to pass, that's intercepted by Adam Sokol. He will dump this one down, goes below the goal line, and Schmidt comes out of his net to fire it off the boards, but not out as Lochran keeps it alive. And then a block was made, and it goes all the way down.
We're seeing both teams trying to make hitting that far side winger on a little seam pass across the ice. Both teams doing a very good job of having defensemen step up to block that pass, or a third man high as well to block that pass, shutting down both teams' offense so far.
Glenbrook South Hockey live on Twitch. Thank you for tuning in. Just because it's not on the SHL network doesn't mean that this isn't the game of the week in the league, and rightfully so. Number 1 versus number 2 in the state, as Andrew pointed out a couple of times earlier in this broadcast. Both teams looking for a season series victory against one another. Each team with 1 win in SHL play. New Trier leads the overall season series 2-1 with a win in the preseason invitational, as this shot by McAdams from the left side is deflected up high by Winger. Nice stop.
Tremendous save there from Winger on that pass from the goal line up to the high slot. And really through traffic, his own players, his own defensemen seemed to be screaming at him, but Luke Winger got that blocker up to the top corner and deflected that puck into the netting. His first real true test of the game, and Winger was up to the task.
Mitchell Snow ready for a face-off with Freemuth. Zach Freemuth wins it. Back to Owen Almberg. Got it over to Jason Ban. Ban tried a long pass, but this will go too far. No icing, it's waved off. Didn't catch the reason for that, Andrew, but we'll play on.
Yeah, we have no vision in the corner. It might have taken a weird bounce off the boards.
Jason Ban with a big hit on Shane Randall right by the Trevian bench. Mitchell Snow missed a man with his pass, so it goes down into the near side corner. Zach Freemuth whiffed on his shot, tried to slide it over to Ban, but it's taken by Douthit. Ahead to Butler Chesson. Chesson scores a lot of points against Glenbrook South with this season combined with last season. A lot of these guys quite familiar with each other, Andrew, as these two sides played 6 games against each other last season. 7 games, as they met in the first round of the SHL playoffs, or second round.
Yes, and I believe New Trier took that series 2-0, but both of the games were close, at least till the very end.
Below the goal line, a scrum for the puck. Juhan Jason is going to get it and plays it out to neutral for Tyler Smith. Smith with speed as Almberg to beat, comes to the near side. Owen Almberg grabs it, gets it out to neutral ice. Nick Ventura deflects this one high, and it lands on a stanchion up there and perfectly still. That puck is seemingly gone.
Yeah, you're going to have to get a ladder to go and get that one down, as many rinks will have those certain places where pucks will just be gone forever, and hockey coaches now will tell you that with the prices of hockey pucks increasing, they're willing to get every puck they can.
First goal obviously critical in this game. In all 3 meetings between these sides this season, GBS scored the first tally. But of course, 2 wins for the Trevians, just 1 for GBS. Sherwood out to Nick Ventura. Ventura into the zone left wing side, gets rid of a man, then chases after the puck, but Cheris gets it first. Vanderploeg keeps it alive. To the slot for Sherwood, intercepted. Here comes Cusick. Maybe a 2-on-1 for New Trier. Alex Cheris scores! On a partial breakaway goes 5-hole on Luke Winger, and the Trevians strike first.
We see the New Trier transition game at its finest right there. Just a block shot in their own zone. It seemed like really harmless. We see Alex Cheris get right away on the break, and he gets a pass and goes in on a partial breakaway, as you mentioned, and beats Luke Winger to the low blocker side.
So 11:19 to go in the first period. Alex Cheris gets his 12th of the season and now has taken sole possession for the lead in points on this New Trier side. Of course, son of first-year head coach Adam Cheris, who's led his Trevian side to a pretty solid season.
Yeah, we mentioned how they had a little rough patch. That's only really by New Trier standards, as they're 22-2 this entire year. Really hard to have a rough patch in a season where you've only lost 4 games and 2 of them in regulation.
Icing by the Trevians, so it'll be an attacking zone face-off for Glenbrook South. 1-0 New Trier, 5-0 shots. GBS still looking for their first one.
We really haven't seen any established zone time from GBS so far yet in this game. That's, I think, but we haven't seen any shots on goal as well. New Trier's done a really good job of having easy outs in their zone and starting to go on the offense.
Face-off win by the Titans. Almberg takes a shot from the point, but that gets blocked. Here comes Connor Herstrit. Centers it Miller. In the slot, he's stuffed by Ryan Mulvey, but he got a backhander on target. Luke Winger makes another save.
And great rebound control from Winger as well.
Cusick up high. He shoots and misses the net. Goes to the far side corner for Rabinowitz, but he lost it. The Titans will look to get it out. The big guns out there for New Trier right now. GBS with their 4th line against them. Ryan Mulvey will send it the length. No icing again. Second questionable no call on an icing in this game. We will play on.
I think they deemed Rabinowitz had a chance to play that puck and he let it go all the way down.
It's a good eye, Andrew. As Pajerski down into the corner. Adam Sokol runs into a man. That's Jack Savino. Adam Sokol, now it's Cusick. Up to Miller, and they get it outside the zone. And even there, Andrew, kind of like what you just said, GBS was in their attacking zone. The puck was, I should say, for a good 20, 30 seconds there, but they really didn't have possession for that entire bit.
And then once we saw New Trier get a little bit clear possession, it was a real easy out for them.
Dylan Monaghan goes all the way down with it. No icing again. 9:30 to go in the first period. I think somebody turned off icing on the NHL rules list. I know I always do that. Here's Ian Finger with a shot. Tutsia stuffs him.
Yeah, if you're on the bench and you get icing waived a lot, you might ask the ref if he's got someplace to be.
Callahan looking to make something happen. Recovers with the puck. Matt Callahan down to the corner. Charlie Bain on his tail. Pardon me, that's Tyler Baker. Tutsius. And it's taken away by Randall, who plays it to Furton. Far side corner. Callahan in there to steal. Randall gets it back. And Shane Randall will bring it out himself. Play it off the near boards for Finger. Drops it off. Here's McAdams. His pass goes right to Zach Freemuth. Here comes Freemuth into the zone, turning on the Jets. All the way to the net. Didn't have any help. Nobody there to collect that puck, which he desperately threw to the near side boards.
Yeah, Freemuth was just looking for some help as both defensemen on that 1-on-2 came to him. He threw it to Neil, hoping for someone.
Jason Ban on a steal. Backhand shot, saved by the pad. Rebound, Wojula. That one stopped by Wyatt Schmidt as well.
Not sure if Schmidt got a piece of that or if it actually hit Freemuth in front of Schmidt as Freemuth was crashed in and out looking for that rebound as well.
Ban will try one from neutral ice, easily into the glove, and he will hang on for a whistle. So the Titans get their first 2 shots on target of the game, still trail 1-0 to the Trevians.
Yeah, and you mentioned that first shot led to a real good rebound opportunity as well. I'm sure head coach Jim Philbin and the GBS Titans are going to take note of that. Look to get any and everything towards the net with lots of bodies there as well.
Attacking zone faceoff for the Titans. It's won by New Trier. Here comes Landon Dalfit. He shoots, and Winger makes the stop. Hangs on. Landon Dalfit showing off his speed a little bit there.
Yeah, if you ask anybody that watches or plays for New Trier, they will not hesitate to tell you the skating ability of Landon Dalfit. You will see him multiple times say just the speed he possesses, and we see him going end-to-end there and getting a shot on goal.
Leads this team with 16 goals on the season, but just 4 assists. Here's Butler Chesson, dumping that one down. Goes to Ryan Mulvey. Out to neutralize Zach Freemuth.
You mentioned Butler Chesson. He also one of the fastest players in the state as well.
Douthit shoots, and the save is made by Winger, and you've got him on the same line here, and whenever that line's out for New Trier, along with Kitchell Snow as well, that's just their number 1 line. That line's going to be coming out firing, taking tons of shots the whole game.
It's a real handful to try to take care of, and it's no wonder New Trier is number 1 in the state and number 1 in the SHL when you can have a line like that puts so much pressure on not only the opposing team's defense, but everyone just to try and slow them down.
Here's Butler Chesson. Wires one. Winger got a piece with his pad. Was going high anyway. And then Luke Winger will put a glove on that. Trevian taken down. That's Dalfit. And 7:28 to go in the first.
Yeah, Luke Winger covered that puck with his blocker, and really what was a pass attempt, I believe, by Kitchell Snow. Looks pretty harmless, but if Luke Winger does not get his blocker on that puck will just float right into the slot area where it looks like New Trier had two guys waiting for him.
50-50 puck. Douthit tries a shot right off the face-off, but that wouldn't work. So here's Kitchell Snow, centered it. Chesson, taken away by the Titans. Here they come. Will Stevens floats this one to Nick Ventura. Taken away by Cusick, goes to Chesson. Another steal by the Titans. Stevens powers it up to the point. Almberg down to the corner. New Trier takes it away and clears it out to neutral ice where the Titans will dump right back in.
Really just no space for the Titans at all in New Trier's zone. New Trier doing a really good job of blitzing and taking away any time and space.
Tyler Smith. Got stuffed there by a couple defenders in black, and it gets cleared out to neutral ice again. Here's Nick Ventura near side. Freemuth takes a hit, but catches up to the puck, and it gets cleared back down. Jason Band, fresh off the bench, into the zone left wing side. Sends this puck to the near side corner, where it gets taken by Cusick. Out to Cheris, intercepted by Band once more. Jason Band from the left side gets deflected and hits the end board glass. Here's Jason Band. Adrian Sokol eludes one defender at the slot and fires a wrist shot just wide of the right post. Now another shot towards the net, tipped on cage by Freemuth, and another save by Wyatt Schmidt. And finally, New Trier gets it out, but there is some of that attacking zone possession that the Titans have been missing this game.
We really saw them using the whole zone there, wrapping the puck around to the far side multiple times, trying to spread out New Trier, who's really done a good job of forcing GBS into playing in a small area until this shift.
They keep going here. Jason Band centers it, Freemuth. And there are 4 Trevians surrounding Freemuth there, and that allows them to grab the puck and clear it the length. That will be an icing against New Trier Green, and with 5:30 to go in the first period, an attacking zone face-off for South, they trail 1-0.
Yeah, and shot advantage right now for New Trier, 9-4, but that shift for GBS was real big for their confidence for the rest of this game. As you mentioned, it's really the first true established zone time they've been able to have here. And they forced a few turnovers on their forecheck as well, which is the first time we've seen that for them. Something that should be giving them a lot of confidence and something head coach Adam Cheris to be taking note of for New Trier.
GBS wins the faceoff. Adrian Sokol shoots, deflected on net and saved by Schmidt. Juhan Jason below the goal line. Goes to neutral ice. Adrian Sokol finds it and dumps it down. Here's Jason again. Near side corner, Vanderploeg keeps it alive at the point. Connor Hirschritt gets it out to neutral ice. Now here comes Miller. They'll play it back to avoid an offsides call potentially. And now they are offsides on this zone entry, and that'll stop the clock. Neutral zone draw coming up with 4:48 to go in the first.
Dylan, that's a perfect example right there of both teams kind of setting up their neutral zone trap, standing tall at their own blue line, making it really hard to enter the zone. GBS, we've talked about on the SHL network all the time, do such an exceptional job of walling off at that blue line and shutting down any sort of zone entry by carrying the puck. They force you like this to dump the puck in and go and get it.
Michael Algrim to Adam Sokol, who lost his stick, but Algrim there to bail him out. Sokol will grab his twig, but New Trier keeps it. It's Randall with a shot from the point. That goes wide of the net. Now down to the corner. 4:23 to go in the first period. Randall keeps it alive, and it does go out to neutral ice where they dump it down. 9-4 are the shots on goal that favor the visitors, New Trier Green. It's actually their first road game, New Trier Green's first road game since December 11th. They played 4 straight at home, but they've got Grunview tonight, they've got Addison Ice Arena on Friday, and then they're back home for their regular season finale against GBN.
We go to Addison Ice Arena and face the red-hot York Dukes, winners of 7 straight here in the SHL.
New Trier can get the win tonight That'll be a great storyline. 2 big winning streaks on the line. And tapping his stick is Douthit at the blue line, but he couldn't collect cleanly. Could have had a breakaway if he did.
Yeah, Douthit was expecting that puck a little bit earlier too, as he got behind the GBS defenseman, and he would have had 2 to 3 steps, in which he only needs to be even to break away for a breakaway.
This tip shot hits the side of the net. Down to 3 minutes left. Cleared out to neutral ice, and it'll go all the way down. No icing as the puck slowed down. So Ryan Mulvey will pick it up. Wojcila tipped out, looking for Freemuth, but it goes to Cusick instead. Douthit will backhand this one down into the zone. Cusick keeps it alive, left point, down below the goal line. Ryan Mulvey collects. It goes to Owen Almberg. Got it to Ban, now ahead to Freemuth. Over the blue line left wing side, Zach Freemuth. Got tipped away, but Jason Ban finds it. Tries a shot, misses the net from the left side. Now Almberg shoots from the point. Closing the door is Butler Chesson. Here comes Neutral Green in a 2-on-2. Chesson lost the puck, and the Titans will not touch the puck here to avoid too many men. And here comes Wojcila. Lost it. Will Stevens will play it back to Almberg, who hits the ceiling with that clear attempt, and that's pretty hard to do here at the Glenview Ice Center, but it'll stop the play with 2:12.
That was a great pickup by you, Dylan, on that, trying to avoid the too many men by the Titans. I think we've seen that a lot this year, a little bit more than normal. Teams in a little bit of trouble changing-wise. Too many men having to avoid it. It's something you're seeing almost occurring every game, whereas in years past, you didn't really see it all that often.
That's the interesting thing about hockey, Andrew, is that you make substitutes on the fly. You don't have to wait for a whistle. You can just go in the middle of a play, and sometimes it is hard to coordinate that. Here's a shot by Hennigan and stopped by Winger.
Yeah, good save from Winger again as that pass came from the corner right to about the face-off dot area, and he was able to track that, get that in his catching glove, and of course leave no rebound. But right before that, New Trier had a chance where they forced a turnover off the wall and immediately got to the middle looking for Alex Cheris, who just deflected it wide of the post. Would have been a really tough save for Winger there. To track that one all the way in front of his own net.
New Trier wins the face-off. Here's Cusick with a blast from the point. Winger with another save. It's his 12th of the evening.
New Trier head coach Adam Cheris has to be happy with the face-off win, but not pleased that nobody got in the sight line of Luke Winger. That's about as assured thing as you can get on about a 60-foot wrist shot on Luke Winger, clear-sighted.
Grant Lochgren off a face-off win, gets this one all the way down. It goes to Cusick. His pass intercepted by Zach Freemuth into the zone. Freemuth was triple team there, but it goes to Adrian Sokol, who blasts a wrister, and that's stopped by Wyatt Schmidt. 1:25 to go in the first period. GBS looking for the game tire. Adrian Sokol from the point, and that misses the net. Now to the near side half boards. New Trier finds it. They might have an odd man rush here. Just one defender back for the Titans. It's Sokol. Here's Smith. He'll take the shot. Winger makes the save, and then a second one on the follow-up.
Yeah, the GBS defenseman, I think it was Adrian Sokol, did a good job of isolating the puck onto one side, not allowing the puck to move to the other side, letting Luke Winger be aggressive, come out and challenge that shot, making the first save and then making the second save as well. Really limiting an odd man rush that looked like it could be high danger, possibly a 3-on-1. So really just a 1-on-1 between Luke Winger and Tyler Smith.
Jack Savino ready for the face-off. A battle of a couple of guys who wear jersey number 77, but the linesman says, let's do this instead. So Nick Ventura comes in. He wins the face-off cleanly. Guy that doesn't take a lot of face-offs. There you go, Nick Ventura, as Sherwood's going to send this one the length. And it does go far enough for icing. 57.9 seconds to go in period one.
Dylan, you brought up the face-offs. You know how much of a fan I am of talking about face-offs here on the SHL network and now on South Hockey Radio Network, especially towards the end of periods and offensive and defensive zone face-offs. They are that much more important.
Face-off win for GBS. Of course, Andrew, we talked about that on the last broadcast. It's kind of hard to tell who wins face-off sometimes because it's not the It's not who pulls the puck back, it's who gets possession after that. Here's Will Stevens coming over the blue line with a backhander that's stopped by the pad of Schmidt, and racing in there was Sherwood to try and get a backhander on that.
Not the first time we've seen a real good rebound opportunity for the Titans after a shot here on Schmidt.
This game's starting to get physical. Sherwood throws his stick, and we're going to get a penalty here. Interference is the call. Now, is that for the stick? Because the referee blew it. No, it's going to Connor Herstrick.
I believe, yes, it was for, we'll take the launching of Sherwood's stick, which I talked about on my last broadcast, oddly enough. When a referee sees a stick go flying, it's pretty much like a red alert to call a penalty, and Herstrick goes palms up, and I did not have a look at it to see if he actually did it or not, but just because of the stick going flying, that will lead to a penalty being called most of the time here in high school hockey.
Well, GBS on the power play this season, 18.7%. As the faceoff's going to be dropped again. New Trier leads the SHL with 7 shorthanded goals. One of those 7 took place in their most recent game, senior night for them against Lake Forest, where they defeated them 7-2. Here's Almberg, down to Ban, up high to Almberg again. Goes across, Ryan Mulvey. Now Almberg, high slot, shoots and scores! Owen Almberg, if it wasn't touched by anyone else, it's his second goal of the SHL season, and the Titans have tied it up with 4 seconds left.
Dylan, that faceoff took place with 23 seconds left, and GBS, with the ability to win, was able to keep possession in zone the entire time. And we see GBS move into the 1-3-1 formation. Owen Almberg plays a little bit of catch with his forward, gets the puck back, and takes a shot that I don't think Wyatt Schmidt really and truly saw at all. And it just had a shot with eyes, found its way past the blocker of Wyatt Schmidt.
And what a big goal that is timing-wise for the Titans. You tie it up instead of trailing New Trier Green. Andrew, one thing that stuck out to me when I was doing my prep for New Trier Green is, believe this or not, they actually are tied after the first period more often than they do have the lead.
Very interesting stat, especially for a team that has the record that they do, and I think that speaks to how well they do in close games as well. I believe at one point in time they were 6-0 in 1-goal games this year. Just unbelievable ability to play in close games, and they have supreme confidence as well in close games to be able to come out on top in the end.
And now looking at it from the perspective of the visitors here, Andrew, when you're trying to win a big game here, you know, a lot of pressure on you. If you're New Trier, you allow that power play goal with 4 seconds left, and not just that, but also the penalty that led to that goal. I mean, what's Coach Adam Cheris saying to his guys right now?
So right now he's talking about a really big shift that's coming up in this game. Last shift of a period, first shift of a period, shift after goals. Those are huge momentum swingers. We just had a goal scored on the last shift of a period, so that makes this shift, the first one of the period, even more important. It's going to set the tone for the rest of this period the way it starts right here.
We'll switch sides. Luke Winger will go to our right, Wyatt Schmidt to our left. And New Trier, when they are tied after the first period, 10 wins, 2 losses, 1 overtime loss. The Titans 7-3-1, so a bit of a more even split. But for GBS, that is just such a huge goal to get themselves tied, especially when they're being outshot by double.
Yes, and I've talked about it multiple times as well with how well GBS plays with the lead. They are a much better team when they can get an early lead on teams and really just suffocate the other teams into submission to end that game. GBS now being tied, it does not have that pressure to score a goal to tie the game, which really isn't so much their game all the time. They want to be ahead. They want to be doing the suffocating to the other teams.
Here's Chesson. His shot goes high. By the way, Andrew, that snaps an 0-for-10 power play streak for GBS in this season series. In the 3 games that they've played prior, 0-for-10 coming into this one, now 1-for-11.
Really important to get off that, not only this game, but as well for if these teams were to meet in the playoffs. But we saw right there Butler Chesson right off the faceoff. Look to explode, try to get a shot on goal. Exactly what you expect out of your captain here. as I mentioned, this huge shift of the game.
Freemuth goes to Wojula. Kasper Wojula shoots. That goes wide of the net. Rebound comes to the near side half boards. Jason Band couldn't keep it alive. Douthit goes back to Chesson. Douthit gets it back, tips it down low. Chesson chasing after it with Mulvey on his tail. Now high to Rabinowitz. Landon Douthit shoots from a tough angle. Save made by Winger. Goes to the far side, and Glenbrook South chips it out.
We saw Luke Winger go into the RVH there, and Landon Douthit did not get far enough off the goal line to really get a true chance of scoring there, as Luke Winger had every angle cut off there in the net.
Hit into the near side corner. Meanwhile, the Titans play it back out to neutral ice. Here's Sherwood. Got it to Stevens. Will Stevens over to Ventura, but he couldn't hang on to that. And Sherwood comes in there to break up some New Trier possession, goes below the goal line. Now Nick Ventura up high, intercepted by Ian Finger. Finger trying to get around Almberg, the Titan goal scorer in this game. He could not. As it comes to the near side, Savino, he shoots, and that one deflects a couple of times. Burton now dumps it down.
Yeah, I think that shot deflected off of Finger, and for a brief second, everybody held their breath, but the puck did not end up going into the net as it just went harmlessly to the boards.
Nick Ventura in the corner battling for possession of the puck. Almberg gets in there with a hit. Keeping the puck alive is Savino. Intercepted by Ventura. Goes out to neutral ice. And on that shift, I just want to say, you really see the defensive ability by number 68 in black, Owen Almberg. I mean, SHL All-Star scored just his second goal of the season in this game, and that's just because he's such a great defensive-minded player.
Also a second team All-SHL selection last year as a junior for Owen Almberg.
Here's Wojula. This is intercepted by Savino. Now Smith into the zone, gets it sticked off his possession, and it'll go all the way down. Trevians out shooting the Titans 3-0 in this period. The Titans with 1 goal on their 7 shots in this game is enough to be tied with 17 by their counterpart. Here's a nice play out of midair to grab the puck for Smith. He shoots and scores! Beats Luke Winger's 5-hole again, and the Trevians have hopped back to the lead.
Really crafty play here from Tyler Smith. He bats this puck out of midair in the neutral zone, and then he attacks Adrian Sokol, and he uses Adrian Sokol as a screen to absolute perfection. Puts the puck, shoots the puck right between Sokol's skates, and Luke Winger never saw it until it ended up going between his legs for a 2-1 Trevians lead.
On their 18th shot on goal as well. So the Titans still yet to have a lead in this game. Allowed the first goal, tied it up. And now a second one by New Trier. And you know, Andrew, it wasn't the next shift per se, but New Trier has come out firing to start this second period, and they are rewarded for that.
Yeah, I mentioned how that first shift was real important. We saw New Trier immediately get on the offense, and that set the tone for really the early part of this period, which you mentioned has now led to them leading this game 2-1.
Ryan Mulvey goes to Owen Almberg. Tried to get it to Ban, but it's over his stick. Schmidt sets it up for Rabinowitz now with 13:29 to go in the second period. Here comes Rabinowitz through the neutral zone. Backhander into Glenbrook South territory, and Almberg will swipe it back. Comes to the near side for Ryan Mulvey. Now sent down once more. Owen Almberg tried to clear it out, but grabbed by the Trevians again. Finally, Zach Freemuth will get the job done and send this one into the Trevian zone. First line off for GBS. Owen Almberg, the only guy staying on the ice here. Douthit intercepted by Eric Steenstrup. Miller intercepts that loose puck. Henry Miller down to the corner, below the goal line, being pressured by Grant Lochran. And you see Grant Lochran and Owen Almberg here on the same defensive pairing. That's an unusual circumstance for Jim Philbin as a couple of guys run into each other. Grant Loughran 18 and Almberg 68, the only two Titans to have skated in every SHL game this season for Glenbrook South, the Iron Men, so to use that slang. Here's a centering pass, and no harm there. Smith, deflected away by Almberg, and he will chip it out to neutral ice.
Seems like back-to-back good shifts here from Tyler Smith. That pass, centering pass, just not in the wheelhouse of Henry Miller, would have been a prime scoring chance for the Titans.
Luke Winger will put a glove on that. So by the way, with that goal by the Trevians, by Tyler Smith, that's the first time this SHL season that GBS has allowed a goal in anything but the first period to the Trevians, outscoring them 4-0 in the second and third period combined through 2 games.
That just speaks to the defensive play of GBS and how they really can shut down an offense as high-powered even as New Triers.
Face-off goes to Glenbrook South. It's Alex Tutsius who over the weekend scored his first career varsity goal against the York Dukes. Now Adam Sokol, left circle, down to Monaghan, up high it goes, Tutsius. Backhand chip to Pajerski. And out to neutral ice once more. 11:30 to go in period 2. Trevians out shooting the Titans 19-8 and winning the game 2-1. Pajerski dumping this one in, chasing after it. Lost an edge, and it goes to Adam Sokol, but it's intercepted here by Alex Furton. Owen McAdams tried to get it to Furton, but Loughran with a nice play there to swipe that out of the way. And Juhan Jason back in his own end for the Trevians. Adam Sokol pressuring, knocked it off of his stick, but he does get it out to neutral ice where the Titans will dump it back down. New Trier trying to clinch the best record in the SHL and win their 8th coaches trophy in this league's 10-season existence. The only other 2 teams to get that done is GBN and Loyola Gold, 1 apiece.
I do believe GBN has 2, as one of the times they did split it with New Trier. To my knowledge, I'm not 100% on that.
I know what you're talking about. I think that might be the playoff championship.
Oh, you are right. It is the playoff championship.
Meanwhile, Stevens pulled it to his backhand down to the corner. And up high it goes to Vanderplug, across for Adrian Sokol. He shoots, and the save is made by Schmidt. And Snow tried to get it out. Freemuth kept it alive. And now finally the Trevians knock it out to neutral ice. And that stays on sides according to the linesman. Adrian Sokol left circle, got his shot tipped away, goes down below the line, and Vanderplug will keep it deep. Freemuth to Sherwood, touch pass. Here's Adrian Sokol, dumping this one down again. And here's that sustained zone pressure for the Titans. See if they can get any shots. It's mostly just been passing back and forth. It goes out to neutral ice. And Adrian Sokol being pressured here by Kitchell Snow, and the Trevians will finally get it clear at the length on target, so no icing with 7:16 to go.
New Trier will change for some fresh bodies after, you mentioned some established zone time from GBS for an extended shift for the Trevians.
Casper Wojula ahead of Randall. Wojula catches up to the puck and fires, misses the crossbar by just a couple of inches, and it goes out of play. 9:02 to go in the second period. Andrew, I actually want to circle back to that. I actually don't have any idea why GBN and New Trier have a shared SHL championship, and I was just wondering if you had any insight.
I actually do have some insight because they were unable to schedule the final championship game needed, and they were expecting both of them to win their state semifinal games, but New Trier ended up losing theirs to Bennett Academy. I believe it's the 2015 season.
I think you're right
we were
about
talking about, and they just were never able to get it scheduled as GBN was preparing for a state championship as well. And New Trier really didn't have anything to play for, and they were nervous about what could possibly happen in that game, and it just led to them being both co-champions.
That is interesting. Kind of a shame that it works out like that. I know last season the SHL final bled into the state tournament a little bit, where Loyola Gold swept New Trier Green in what was a surprising game to many, or a surprising series, I should say. And another SHL playoff tournament is coming up. We know the 8 teams. Both of these 2 teams are in it, obviously. And GBS is going to look to advance past the semifinals for the first time in league history last season when they upset Stevenson as the 6th seed. That was their first time advancing to the semifinals in 9 SHL seasons.
Yes, and the SHL playoffs now do start at the beginning of February to try to avoid as much conflict with the state playoffs as possible.
Battle for the puck in the near side corner. More than halfway through with this game. Through regulation anyway. The Trevians leading on the road here. Ryan Mulvey's shot goes into the glove of Schmidt. And you heard a couple sighs from the GBS parents because Ryan Mulvey, the freshman, still looking for his first varsity goal. What a game this would be to do it. I think some of the parents over here were hoping that that one squeaked through.
Yeah, I think Mulvey was shooting more for the stick of Voigela as it just missed. Voigela, who was right between the hash marks, looking for a high deflection there.
Face-off win for GBS. Eric Steenstrup shoots, and that's saved immediately, and we get another quick whistle for one more face-off.
Good save there from Schmidt. I mentioned it lots of times before, really hard for goaltender to track the puck off a face-off just because of all of the bodies and moving parts.
This game's been somewhat physical. New Trier Green and Glenbrook South. Probably, I would say out of all the high school sports, hockey is where the rivalry is most prevalent, especially this season with them sitting at the top of the standings. Just one penalty in the game so far, and it led to GBS's only goal of the game on the power play.
I think the rivalries going back to that are a little bit better because you play teams multiple times per year. You mentioned at least 3 times. They played 7 times last year. It just makes those rivalries that much better.
In SHL history, New Trier leads the all-time series 21-5 against the Titans in the regular season. As this tough angle shot from Steenstrup is stopped, here comes Alex Furton over the blue line, right wing side. Around Algrim, Luke Winger sticks it away. Solid night so far for Winger, in spite of 2 goals allowed. He's made 20 saves. We're still somewhat close to that halfway point of regulation with 8:30 left.
And some of those saves have been real high danger chances as well.
Here's Jason Ban trying to intercept but couldn't get possession, so instead Owen McAdams over the line, left wing side. Down to the corner. McAdams, grabbed by Lochran, taken away by Savino. Jack Savino. Up high, this shot tipped on its way, and the save made by Winger. Another try for Baker, and that wouldn't work either. Furton from up high, and Luke Winger pads it aside. Owen McAdams at the slot. Jason Ban intercepts. It goes to Zach Freemuth. Here comes Freemuth through the neutral zone. Over the blue line, drops it off Jason Ban, shoots, and that gets deflected way high and off the ceiling, says the referee.
Yeah, it looked like a 3-on-3 opportunity there for the Titans, but they didn't have anybody on that center drive going to the front of the net. So that shot from Ban was a real easy save for Schmidt as he was able to stick it out of play and end any threat for the Titans.
2-1 the score. It's a close game. New Trier Green notorious for playing a complete game every single night. In spite of leading 5-2 in their last game, they scored 2 goals in the final 3 minutes, including Cheris with 1 second on the clock to make that final score 7-2 against Lake Forest. And also, they've scored at least a goal in 11 of their last 13 periods coming into this one. Now that's 13 of their last 15.
When you mention how they play a full game, that's just the mentality of Nutria Green. It's been like that for multiple years. They are not going to change. They are going to give you 100% effort, 100% of the time. You know it coming into the game, that's the way it's going to be. And as an opposing team, you have to prepare for it and expect it.
Only goal this second period came early. It belongs to Tyler Smith. Here comes Stevens trying to add a second goal to this period, but his shot goes wide of the net. Butler Chesson gonna grab it. Here comes Chesson over the line. Whiffed on a shot while being guarded by Ryan Mulvey, and Mulvey's gonna get the puck. Goes over to Ventura, taken away by Chesson. Now Pajurski's got it. To the near side half boards. Mulvey tries to get it out of the zone. Smith winds up and fires from the point. That wouldn't work, and then Pajurski is screened. Now the other way comes Wyatt Sherwood. He shoots, and that goes wide of the net. Sherwood looking to make it 2 goals in 3 games with that one, as he scored against York on Friday night. This will go all the way down. No icing as a couple guys go down, one in each jersey. Smith got his pocket picked by Callahan. Goes to the far side boards in neutral ice. Matt Callahan back for Steenstrup. And Eric Steenstrup will dump this one along the boards. Vanderpool up high right point. Down below the goal line. Steenstrup at the corner, centers it, looking for Pajurski, but diving in there to swipe it away was Cusick. Now Sokol shoots, save made, rebound Steenstrup. That one stopped by Schmidt as well. Steenstrup then takes a hit into the corner by Jack Savino, and the parents furious with the officials that wasn't a penalty.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he got his elbow up, but it looked like it was not from behind of the Nutria player.
Adrian Sokol just misses the net. And now Benji Pajurski into the corner. Steenstrup tried a centering pass, and now it's going to be a power play for Glenbrook South as Savino takes a man down for Glenbrook South. I believe that's Pajurski, and yes, it is. Looks to be laboring a little bit, but doesn't appear to be anything too serious. And so for the second time in this game, GBS will go to the power play, and you remember what happened the first time it happened.
Yeah, so it's the only goal of the game so far for the Trevians, so that seemed more like a frustration penalty there, taken from Savino, and I think this has the possibility of moving to a 2-10 or possibly even a 5-minute major, depending on what the officials choose here. That hit really seemed late, as the GBS player did not have the puck, and it also seemed to come up high as the officials are getting together to discuss about the penalty.
Well, lucky for us, Andrew, Stephen Ban is great with making sure game sheet's up and running for every single home game, so we'll see what this loads in as.
Looks like we're going to get a 2-minute call for elbowing from the official here.
I do see 2 Trevians in the box.
I don't think one of them's in the box. He's just sitting right on the ledge there, making it awfully difficult for us broadcasters to tell the difference.
Really the only rink it's crystal clear is Heartland, because the penalty boxes are on the other side. So here we go. Ryan Mulvey goes down low to Wojcila. It only took the Titans 18 power play seconds to score at the end of the first period. It'll take longer than that if they're going to on this try, as Freemuth has it in neutral ice. Over to Ban, near the Titan bench. A lot of snow buildup at that bench, and prevents the Trevian player to get a good clear of it, so instead it's dumped down by Ryan Mulvey. Picking it up in the far corner, Jason Ban. Up high it goes, here's Almberg to the near side, Ryan Mulvey. Up high to Almberg again, his pass to Ban is intercepted by McAdams, and he helps it out to neutral.
Great anticipation there from Adams, and a good stick to deflect that puck in. Anytime you're shooting, get the puck out of the zone, as we're seeing here, they make it so difficult to re-enter the zone on the penalty kill.
Here's Zach Freemuth dumping this one in, avoiding a check from Cusick, lost a glove in that process. And Nutria Green gonna clear this one out to neutral ice one more. 1:30 to go in the second period, 45 on this power play for the Titans as Furton intercepts, Alex Furton on a partial breakaway, but didn't have very much speed, and Sokol and Almberg were there to bail out the black sweaters. Now Sherwood with a dangle around Baker, takes a hit from Furton, comes to the near side, Ventura. And Sherwood is hurting on the ice, and that'll draw a whistle. He's face down, and that's not a pretty sight. He looks to be in some serious pain as the Glenbrook South trainer rushes onto the ice.
Yeah, that was a real high-speed collision there as Sherwood just lost the puck and ended up going behind him, and when he turned, ran right into Alex Furton. And that's two big bodies colliding with each other. You could hear the impact of that collision up here.
We're looking at the delayed broadcast right here. See if we can get a good replay of this. But Sherwood's still on the ice now. Finally, he's able to get up here. Yeah, we just saw that hit. And yeah, that looked to be a little high, and there was no penalty called initially. We'll see if that changes.
I don't believe we're going to get a penalty, as it really was just a set of unfortunate circumstances for Sherwood as he just lost that puck and turn. That's right where Furton was coming from Nutrien. I don't know if that hit got him up high. It looks like he's grimacing more towards his midsection. As mentioned, that was just a real high-speed collision.
All right, so neutral zone face-off to get back underway. No additional penalties, but the Titans still with 19 more seconds on the power play. Up high, here's Lochran, slides it over, Adrian Sokol. Tried to set up Freemuth with a touch pass there, but a little miscommunication on that one. Power play now over, so South goes 1 for 2 on the power play. Here comes Jason Van into the zone, punching this one down to the corner, catches up with the puck. Kitchell Snow intercepts, gets it to Douthit, who backhands it out to neutral ice again. 26 seconds to go in this period. Landon Douthit. Taken away by Adrian Sokol. Over to Lochran. Now Freemuth tips this one into the Trevian zone, and off the boards it goes back out to neutral ice. 10 seconds remaining in this period. Titans dump it down again to the far side corner. Rabinowitz holds it behind his net, wants to milk this clock out, and he'll do that successfully. And the buzzer sounds on the second frame, and a little bit of friendly conversation after the buzzer.
Yeah, I think Nutrier was not happy that the Titans may have taken a shot after the whistle there. But the physicality in this game really picked up towards the end of that second period, especially for Nutrier, looking to lay a lot more hits in the latter half of that second period, something to watch out for in the third.
All right, so the teams will take a break. So will we on the South Hockey Radio Network and live on Twitch, but do not go anywhere. The third and final period coming up in about 10-15 minutes. Keep it right here on Twitch and the South Hockey Radio Network.
Go to North Branch. By alcohol content. Yeah. Big one 6.1. That new one is 6.5. Tommy does a 6.2. What do you guys think? Something like that? That's good. Yeah, I got it. That's what you guys were mentioning here. Is this their last year? No, but winning here. Win or so we only win one league. For us? If we win the tournament, then we only They are going to lose. It's a hot fight back. It's a hot fight back. Even next year knows they're going to lose. So then the battle match went out at 30. We're at 30. Loyola, we're at 32. And then with Stevenson, they're probably winning. They will be at 30. If you don't win 6, But I'm not saying that. I'm saying I clearly don't remember anybody other than saying, back ball, whatever is normal. I don't know. That's what I was saying. I mean,
Welcome back to the South Hockey Radio Network and live on Twitch, courtesy of Gerard Boris behind the camera. Hope you're enjoying this fun game between the top two teams in the state of Illinois. New Trier with the edge after 2 periods. Glenbrook South's only goal came from Owen Almberg, and New Trier's goals came from Alex Cheris first and Tyler Smith. And Andrew failed to mention this as it happened, but Alex Smith with that game-opening goal extends a goal-scoring streak to 5 in a row in SHL play.
Yeah, and scoring in 5 straight games in a league as competitive in the SHL is a feat in and of itself. And not only that, but the end of the season when teams are really starting to hunker things down, get into playoff mode, and continuing against a team like GBS as well as showing the talent that a player like Alex Cheris has, as I believe he is now still tied with Tyler Smith, as Tyler Smith did score that second goal for the Trevians. But this game is going almost as we expected, real close game at the intermission, low scoring, as both of these teams like to play, especially when they get to meet each other so far in this season, and it should be in the making for a great third period ahead of us.
Well, Andrew, the third period has been GBS's best period throughout the entire season. They lead the league in third period goal differential at a plus 16 rate. And actually, they went on a 6-game streak of not allowing a third period goal for a while there. Then Davis Jaegers scored in the opening 20 seconds of the third period. And Andrew, since then, they've been outscored 4-2 in the third period in their last 4 games, following just one third period goal allowed in the prior 5.
And I think a lot of that has to do with them playing in a tie game or losing, where, especially here, where we mentioned when they're in the lead in the third period, it is just so difficult to get that equalizing goal against a team like GBS.
So here we go indeed. We've switched back to our first period sides. GBS from left to right, New Trier from right to left. Here's a one-timer. Butler Chesson missed the net, didn't get a lot on that slap shot. And so Owen Almberg will try and go out to Jason Van. Zach Freemuth will intercept. And Andrew, that's not a play at this level, high school is what I mean by that. The one-time play, we don't see it as very often where it's completely clean and the player gets a lot on it. And I was watching the broadcast that you were part of, Stevenson GBN, last Saturday, and boy, Davis Jaegers had a beautiful one-timer in that game as Butler Chesson lifts this one way over the crossbar and out of play.
Yeah, this is the second time in a row for the beginning of the second period, now beginning of the third period. We've seen New Trier with that first line start out on the attack to start the period. But going back to the point you mentioned, yes, Davis Jaegers, the leading point getter in the Scholastic Hockey League, let go of a fantastic one-timer from no one but his partner in crime for 4 years, Dylan Jate. With those two players just having unbelievable chemistry and scoring lots of goals for multiple years here at the SHL.
Andrew, when this season started back up again and I was getting my first look at some of these varsity rosters, I was shocked that not only was Jaegers not a senior last season, but neither was Jate, and those guys led their team in points. Here's Alex Cheris coming in on net, and the save is made by Winger.
Great save on a breakaway opportunity there from Winger as Cheris tried to pull that puck to his forehand, but Winger's left pad was there just in time.
Big hit on the near boards. Down goes Will Stevens, and a penalty's going to be called against New Trier. And Alex Cheris can't believe this call, and he's going to go have a seat. And the Titans will get their third power play opportunity.
Yeah, it looked like the signal was a rough from the referee. Yeah, there he goes again with the rough. But going back to the point you mentioned about Davis Jaegers and Dylan Jate, oddly enough, I had the opportunity to play against them for 2 years back when I was playing, and I didn't know that they were freshmen at the time or sophomores when I got to play them. And they just seem like those type of players that just hung around forever. And last year they got the first state championship in Stevenson history, and they're looking to do the same again this year.
Face-off win for New Trier Green. They try and clear it out, kept alive, and finally they do force it out. Again, don't forget, 7 shorthanded goals for New Trier that leads the SHL, including one last game.
And you see when New Trier goes into this 1-2-2 post, trying to block any carry the puck zone entries, really hard to break. For all other teams in the Scholastic Hockey League, you will see when they face it, they will struggle.
Here comes Cusick over the line, has Almberg to beat. Will Cusick around him takes a shot, and Almberg gets a good stick on it to force it above the crossbar.
There's one of those chances you mentioned, 7 shorthanded goals, and just so hard to break this 1-2-2 trap, 1-2-1 trap from the Trevians.
Rabinowitz will try and clear this out, kept alive by Wojula. Now Ban. Loose puck comes to New Trier, and here's Miller. Doesn't want to dump it just yet, wants to play a little keep away. Goes back to Cusick. And Cusick will fire this one to length. That thing had airtime all the way down to the boards. Lots of power on that from Cusick. Now here's Stevens around one defender, shoots in, just missed the net, maybe a slight piece of the glove. Now down below the goal line, Adrian Sokol's gonna grab it at the corner. Play it off the near side goal. Almberg keeps it alive. Now to Sokol, left point, shoots, and that's blocked. And finally, New Trier will get it out to neutral ice. Only 18 seconds to go on this South power play. 13:35 to go in the third, and no penalty call there, as that looked like a pretty clear trip to me. We will play on.
It looks like Adrian Sokol went palms up, but I want to highlight Owen McAdams for a minute. He's played a really good game, winning lots of puck battles in his own zone, especially doing a really good job killing penalties as well. Don't believe he's gotten on the score sheet, but he's made lots of winning plays.
You see him with the puck right now, 58 in white. Owen McAdams trying to get ahead of Sokol. That didn't work. Vanderplug tries to clear it out. Shenton keeps it alive. Now the power play is over, by the way. So GBS falls to 1 out of 3. Now scrum behind the play. Vanderplug tied up with Kitchell Snow, right next to Luke Winger. And now we are going to get a whistle here.
Looks like it's going to be offsides for the call, as no officials are signaling any sort of penalty with 12:47 here to go. But a really good penalty kill executed there from the Trevians. Really, the only opportunity they had, I believe, was Stevens right off the rush, and his shot immediately missed the net, ending that threat. No real other opportunities for the Titans on that power play.
Glenbrook South twice this season has been down 2-1 to New Trier Green and tied the game to force overtime, but they did lose both of those games. Of course, one in the championship round of the preseason invitational tournament and once at Winnetka Ice Arena in the SHL. Now Butler Chesson turns on the Jets. He has a breakaway. Chesson missed the net high. He was trying to go bar down, but Luke Winger not even forced to make a save. Now the other way comes Freemuth. He tried to slide it over to Ban, but Jack Savino with a nice defensive play to get it in his skates. And now Henry Miller's got it.
End-to-end action here, and we saw this first the speed of Chesson, and then a great play by Savino to shut down that 2-on-1.
Now a penalty coming up against Glenbrook South. On a delayed call, they'll touch the puck. And holding is the signal from the referee, and so after GBS has had 3 power play opportunities, New Trier will get a look for the first time in this one.
It's a popular saying here in hockey when 3 straight penalties are called on one team. It's almost a surefire thing to see the next penalty called on the other, and we see that here, and it's going to be New Trier's first opportunity on the power play and a chance to really put a chokehold on this game if they can execute here.
Andrew, when I was doing my research for this game, looking at some of the team stats, New Trier Green is in first place in the SHL in a lot of different team stats. But one area that they struggle is their power play. Only at 15%, that's 7th best in this league of 10 teams. Cusick.
You really wonder with a team that has as much talent as this too about why they are struggling on the power play. Could just be puck luck, but it's also about scoring goals at the right time as well.
Cusick shoots, save made by Winger, rebound Smith. Goes below the goal line, centers it, but right there to grab it is Nick Ventura. Gets it over to Sherwood. He's gonna have a shorthanded look. Wyatt Sherwood shoots, and Cusick gets a stick in there to block it. It'll go out of play.
Not the first time we mentioned block shots, as New Trier has done an excellent job this game of blocking point shots, shots off the rush, active sticks, everything. All types of shot prevention this game have been done very well from the Trevians.
On the contrary, Glenbrook South's penalty kill has been phenomenal this SHL season. They were sitting in first place in the league for a while. But then, Andrew, they allowed 2 power play goals to Carmel, one of which was an empty net 5-on-5 goal. And so for that reason, their penalty kill has dropped down to 2nd in the league. Also, by the way, in that Carmel game, that snapped a 34 out of 34 penalty kill streak over 11 games for the Titans.
I did not know that they were 34 for 34. That is just an incredible stat right there. 34 straight penalty kills. Not even just executing well, any sort of bad bounce preventing something like that. That's just a truly incredible stat from the team. 34 straight penalty kills.
And of course, 2 in the last game in the 3rd period. Here's a shot, and this one's deflected away by Winger. 36 seconds to go on this power play. Looking to make it 35 of 37 in their last 12 games. Here's Miller down below the goal line, takes a hit into the end boards by Adrian Sokol, and he takes him to the ground. Cusick to Smith. He shoots. Winger makes the save.
I believe the net's off. Winger's trying to alert the official.
And Andrew, with the play continuing, I thought that must just not have been the case, but I did notice it was a little bit crooked, and so they will fix that. And, you know, Andrew, we see the net come off of its post, I feel like more this season than we usually do. And it's just such a controversial rule, especially at this level, where it comes off so much. And of course, we saw the Glenbrook North Spartans get cheated out of an overtime winner because of that in the state tournament last year.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that has to do with, for all of those at home wondering, it's the same pegs used for any sort of youth hockey, high school hockey. They could be 10 years old, they could be 18 years old, and the goaltenders now just play with so much leg drive. They get so much force, and they use those posts to push off of. And in contrary, an NHL rink, for example, they have those pegs almost cemented into the ice. So any sort of goaltender push really isn't going to knock the net off because of that. So I think that's just the reason why the goaltenders have just become that much better, and the pegs that they use just aren't strong enough to hold the nets in place.
Landon Douthit shoots, closing the doors, Winger with his pads. 9:13 to go, GBS looking for a game tire. Sherwood, ahead of one man, takes a shot, and Schmidt makes the save. 9:04 to go in the third period. Trevians out shooting the Titans 32-16 in this one.
Yeah, doubling up GBS on the shots and technically doubling up on the scoreboard, but despite all of that, still a one-goal game here with 9:04 to go in regulation.
GBS is looking for just their 6th regular season win against New Trier since the SHL was founded for the 2012-2013 season. One of those came last year as Jason Ban got an overtime winner here at Glenview Ice Center to take down the Trevians. And that was actually the last game they lost before that 7-game win streak that gave them the regular season championship.
I do believe 2 of those Glenbrook South wins came in the 2017-2018 season, where GBS defeated New Trier twice in the SHL regular season and then eliminated them in the quarterfinals of the state tournament.
That was a fun game. I was at that one as a fan, Andrew. That was before my broadcasting career started. I don't remember the score, but it was quite a high-scoring game, right? 7-something, 7-4, 7-5?
Yeah, I think it was 7-3, 7-2, 8-2, 8-3, that kind of range.
Something in that neighborhood. Exciting game, especially if you're a Glenbrook South Titan. Adam Sokol with a backhand pass, but that went right to the Trevians. Through neutral ice they come, intercepted by Adrian Sokol. Scrum for the puck in neutral ice along the near side glass by the door New Trier uses to enter. And now it goes back down into the Titan zone. Here's Ian Finger. Adrian Sokol now with it. Nice move around Miller. And then Sokol arcs it to neutral ice into the glove of Shenton. And we're going to get a penalty on a whistle on a hand pass. 7:50 to go in the third period.
I'm not sure if that was a hand pass. I think they deemed that he closed his hand on the puck there. And as evident by the puck really sticking in his glove, not coming down to the ice. And referees immediately blow the whistle, and it's going to lead to a center ice face-off.
So Andrew, am I wrong? I thought that was a penalty.
It's up to the referee's discretion, is my belief.
Gotcha.
I'm not up to date with every single rule USA Hockey passes now, but to my knowledge, I believe it's up to the referee's discretion. They can award a penalty or give a penalty, or they can just deem it a whistle.
This will go up high. 7:34 to go in the third period. Titans in the same position they were on senior night. Against a much more worthy opponent tonight, though. Only 1 goal away from tying this. Here's Cusick. Over to Rabinowitz. Finds Kitchell Snow in neutral ice. They dump it down deep. Asher Vanderploeg in the near side corner. Miller fighting for possession of the puck. Herschritt down there too with Stevens. And now Herschritt goes to the far side. Rabinowitz on the far boards. Got it down low. Herschritt back up high to Rabinowitz. Down below the goal line once more. It's Henry Miller in the near side corner. Miller up high to Rabinowitz. He shoots deflected and a save made by Winger.
Also a great stick from Vanderpoel to clear the puck there, as that rebound was marked for the stick of Connor Herschritt, but the good stick of Vanderpoel cleared that puck out of any danger.
Steenstrup now to Callahan. Matt Callahan takes a hit in the near boards, but keeps the puck. Tried to center it for Freemuth, but that pass got blocked. Now here comes Smith the other direction. Tyler Smith around Almberg. Centers it, and McAdams had a wide open chance. And the net off its post now. Pardon me, that was Alex Cheris, who has a goal in this game already, and it was just a little bit too speedy of a play for them to execute perfectly.
Yeah, that play was all set up by Tyler Smith. He was all over the ice earlier in the game, and we saw the speed again of him there as he blew past Owen Almberg, went around the net and looked to find Alex Cheris in front, just couldn't connect, and then as we saw, the net came off despite New Trier having a pretty good scoring opportunity as that puck found its way to the point, but no chance to get a shot because of the whistle.
New Trier looking for their fourth piece of hardware this season. Preseason Invitational, O'Grady Cup, the Cactus Cup over in Arizona a couple weeks ago, and the coach's trophy on the line here. The best record in the regular season. They are 5 minutes away if they can hold this lead and we get a whistle.
Looks like we're going to get an intentional offsides called here, as the faceoff's going to come all the way down to the Trevians end.
Luke Winger with a solid night for the Titans. 32 saves on 34 shots after a tough stretch in his last two games with an .848 save percentage in his previous two. That's a game against Carmel and a game against York. In that York game, he allowed 5 goals to the Dukes, and that's the first time any team has scored 5 goals against a Titans goalie. Only other time the team has allowed 5 was against New Trier Blue, but one of those was an empty netter. Here's Chesson in close. He shoots, and Winger gets a piece of that one with his shoulder. Butler Chesson down to Kitchell Snow, centering pass, looking for Jason, but that wouldn't work. And Casper Wojcila keeps the puck safe, and the Titans will play it back.
You saw Butler Chesson there. He had a chance to get that loose puck in front of the Trevians bench, but he was looking to get back because he knew his defenseman had stepped up already into the play. That's exactly what you want to see if you're the Trevians. Playing with a lead is so important, especially as we get to come to playoff time. Preventing goals is much more important than trying to get that extra goal, which might be unnecessary.
Here's a centering pass, but that goes to New Trier. Chesson trying to spring ahead, Landon Douthit. But that wouldn't work. No icing called. Winger out of his crease to play that one to Adrian Sokol. Here comes Sokol with speed. Big Titan defenseman can't hang on to the puck, and it comes out to neutral ice. Sam Shenton back for Cusick. Cusick to McAdams in neutral. Owen McAdams into the zone, being pressured by Grant Loughran. Loughran with a hit on McAdams into the near side corner, and the puck will come free. Wyatt Sherwood goes back. Adrian Sokol will play it off the near side boards, and it's helped out to neutral. Will Stevens over the line. Under 4 minutes to play in regulation time.
Looks like it could have been a possibility of a holding penalty there as the New Trier benchman palms up, but no call from the officials.
New Trier trying to hang on for a regular season championship if they can avoid a regulation loss here, which seems relatively likely. Hit into the near boards. Zach Freemuth, now Adrian Sokol's got it, plays it to Almberg. 3:20 to go. Jason Van touches it to Freemuth. Zach Freemuth drops it off Ban. Back down low to Freemuth, and he tipped that one on target, but didn't get a lot on it. Now this puck touches a player in the Trevian bench, and that'll draw a whistle with 3:10 to go in the third. Titans down 2-1.
We mentioned the shot discrepancy already. New Trier still doubling up the Titans, but still with 3 minutes and 10 seconds to go, it's one shot away for the Titans to tie this game up.
This one's going to be cleared all the way down. It'll be an icing. We'll do that face-off again with a couple seconds gone from the clock.
Good win there from New Trier on the draw, but just not able to have any other options. They got to clear the zone. It goes all the way down for an icing, and we're going to have to do this all over again.
Zach Freemuth is ready. He wins it to Steenstrup. Eric Steenstrup shoots, and that's over the crossbar. Interesting to see Jim Philbin mixing up the lines a little bit, getting Steenstrup on that top unit to replace Kasper Wojcila down here late in the game.
I think head coach Jim Philbin's just looking to give a little bit of spark to his team, see if something sticks here.
Here's a
putting out
shot.
that new line.
There's a shot blocked by Almberg. The Titans also looking to avoid 5 straight games with 2 goals or fewer. So we get down to 2:30. Ryan Mulvey. Boy, that faked me out. I'm not even sure what happened there, but it'll come to the near side. Eric Steenstrup lost it. Herschritt tried to center it for Miller, but instead it goes to Ryan Mulvey. Now Freemuth off the boards. Zach Freemuth in the corner. Goes below the goal line for Jason Ban. Winger waiting at the hash marks. Almberg at the right point. Down to the near side half boards for Ban. Almberg now to Adrian Sokol. He wrists one, and that got tipped and goes wide of the net. GBS keeps it alive. Almberg shoots. Miller makes the block, and he'll poke this one down to the Titans' end. Winger out of his net, and he'll play this one to avoid a potential breakaway against.
That puck was awfully close being shot out of the rink into the netting by Luke Winger, which there's no delay of game penalty for the players, but if the goaltender happens to shoot the puck out of the rink of play, it is a delay of game penalty.
It's a great pickup, Andrew, and you're right. That was pretty close to sailing over the boards. All right, 1:10 to go here. Crunch time for the Titans. Haven't had a whistle in a couple of minutes now. This one goes to Adrian Sokol. He'll dump this one in. Luke Winger makes the sprint. Titans will go with 6 attackers. Trevians have an empty net to shoot at. Battle for the puck in the near side corner. It gets thrown out to neutral ice. Adrian Sokol will dump it back in, and we get a whistle. And I think it's an offsides and an intentional one at that, so the Titans will be forced to take a face-off back in their own zone, and Winger will head back.
Yes, I believe because that shot was on net during the delayed offsides, the face-off's going to come all the way to the GBS zone. I would not be surprised to see GBS head coach take his timeout, as there it is.
Andrew, one of my favorite things watching the Blackhawks growing up is how accurate Eddie Olczyk was at saying, wouldn't be surprised if there's going to be a timeout, and then right then and there, it's called. So that's a good call by you. And the Titans are in a tough spot here because they have to put Winger back in the net, and you're down to less than a minute. You got 54.8 on the clock, down by 1 to the very clear #1 team in this state, looking to extend a winning streak of their own. Now, this is a team you've beaten before. What do the Titans need to do here in this final minute to find a game tie?
So for the Titans, you got to win this face-off because once you get possession, you need somebody to fly the zone. That's going to push all the Trevians defenders. It's going to force them to push back, and you're just going to have to find a way to get the puck to the red line if you're the Titans. You got to get that puck deep so you can get Winger off the ice, get the extra attacker on. Whereas for the contrary, New Trier, you're trying to do everything you can to keep this puck in the offensive zone. You don't want to be overly aggressive and allow an odd man rush, but you don't want to let GBS get that puck across the red line so they can get the goalie off the ice in the 6th attacker. The face-off right now is just so important for both teams.
Kitchell Snow against Zach Freemuth. A couple of Letterman. At the dot to Winger's left, Freemuth pulls it back. It goes to Adrian Sokol. Now to Wyatt Sherwood. Whiffed on his dump out to neutral ice, and Kitchell Snow will dump this one down. 40 seconds to play. Almberg in the near side corner. Down to Adrian Sokol, back to Almberg. Titans have to hurry here. Almberg can't collect that. Here's a shot from a tough angle. Landon Douthit, stopped by Winger. Now out to neutral ice. Right about now's the time to make the sprint for Luke Winger, regardless if you have possession or not. 20 seconds now. He's still in his net, and Chesson steals this one away, goes all the way down. It'll be one more rush for the Titans. 12 seconds to go. Sherwood, neutral ice. It's dumped back down by Kitchell Snow, and Luke Winger will play it off the board. Sherwood with 3 seconds, and the Titans waving the white flag here. It's a coach's trophy for the New Trier Trevians for the 8th time in 10 seasons of SHL league existence. They have the best record in the regular season and have clinched the #1 overall seed for the SHL playoffs. And the Titans' tough stretch continues, making it 4 losses in their last 6.
Yeah, and I think those last 50 seconds were the perfect example of this entire game. Mentioned how GBS had to get that puck across the red line if they wanted to get the goaltender off it. The defense of New Trier, just not even just defense for its full team effort, completely shut anything down, keeping the puck in the Titan zone for almost the entirety of those 50 seconds, and not allowing Luke Winger to get off the ice, not allowing a shot, not allowing any sort of scoring chance for the Titans.
Well, Andrew, last game was just the 3rd time this season. The Titans scored 1 goal or fewer. That's now happened again. So the Trevians take it 2-1. And I mean, you were spot on. That final minute, I mean, right after the timeout, GBS really didn't have anything in their attacking zone. It was just the Trevians finding the puck, dumping it down, wasting time, and Luke Winger, besides that brief period he was pulled before that intentional offsides, never made it to the bench.
Yeah, and I think it was also some fortunate bounce to the Trevians. The puck got wrapped around, it went over Owen Almberg's stick, and Douthit was able to keep the puck in. That's exactly what happens. That's the difference in the games like these. And a game like this really has a playoff atmosphere kind of feeling to it, and you have to expect that more as we get later on into the season and as the playoffs start.
Well, congratulations, New Trier Green, on another coach's trophy. #1 overall seed, well deserved. They advanced the record to 21-2-2. And GBS falls in the season series 2-1, just like the game, 2-1. It was a low-scoring affair. It was a tight game all the way. No scoring in the 3rd period. And the Trevians take it by 1 goal. Thank you so much to all of you who tuned in, especially if we have any first-timers on the broadcast or New Trier fans. I know this is supposed to be an SHL game of the week. Jimmy Olsen, I doubt you're watching, but if you are, hoping that you start feeling better for this weekend, our technical engineer at the SHL Network. But it's a good thing Gerard's around so we can bring you this game. And GBS can't find the win. This has been Dylan Ward and Andrew Rubin. Andrew, any final thoughts before we wrap things up?
Just couldn't be more excited for what's to come in high school hockey. Both we got league playoffs for all the leagues, and then the state playoffs for all the teams. For all the fans at home, make sure to keep tuning in or come to the rink for what really is the most exciting time of the season.
No doubt, and you know the SHL Network will be all over that. If you want to watch any more GBS games throughout the postseason, SHL or state, Gerard and we do every single Glenbrook South varsity game, so you can catch every single one all throughout the playoffs, unless they're on SHL Network. That's the only case that we don't do it. And that's going to finish our broadcast. So for Gerard Boris on camera, Wendy Freemuth keeping virtual score, and Andrew Rubin to my right, my name is Dylan Ward saying so long from the Glenview Ice Center. Next game will be against Loyola Gold on Saturday right here at the GIC, 6:30 p.m. Either come to the rink or tune in right here on Twitch or the South Hockey Radio Network. Have a great night, everyone.